Well, they may look like a bunch of pro-terrorist maniacs, and they certainly are, but they're also students and some faculty members from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. That's right, MIT, ladies and gentlemen. They were calling for the genocide of Jews there today and prior, and they'll be doing the same thing tomorrow, like campuses all over the country. But this really shocked me. I mean, MIT, they did some amazing things at MIT. They really did. If it wasn't for MIT, we never would have gone to the moon.
Margaret then joined the Charles Stark Draper Laboratory at MIT, working to develop software for NASA's Apollo program. She soon became the team leader that developed the Apollo onboard flight software for the manned missions, including all the missions that landed on the moon. Her team was responsible for creating entirely new concepts in software design. At senior engineering meetings, Margaret was the only woman in the room. Margaret coined the term software engineering, establishing it as a form of engineering in its own right.
Wow. Thank you, Margaret Hamilton, who's still alive and programming computers somewhere. She helped us get to the moon. And yeah, she got right in the space capsule while they were making it and made it happen, all while she was at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And we went to the moon in large part thanks to her. Now, that same campus where that important work happened, they are calling for the death of Jews. Can you believe it? I guess it doesn't shock me anymore. It did for a while, but this is kind of a long time coming. Barack Obama sticking it to Israel. He's the one who really made it clear that, no, we don't have your back anymore. Bibi got the message. Joe Biden, he was all pro-Israel when it didn't cost him anything. And now that, well, it might be costing him Michigan, he's been distancing himself and throwing Bibi under the bus. It's been happening for months, and now they're barely talking, maybe yelling at each other sometimes on the phone, but the relationship is shattered. What happened on October 7th, and right now we're not sending any more weapons, critical bombs, the kind of bombs, oh, by the way, that may bring on reduced collateral damage. These weapons are precise munitions, and Israel needs them to limit the number of civilian casualties. Well, it's beyond comprehension. It breaks my heart, and prominent Democrats are speaking out. Members of Congress, they wrote a pretty pointed letter, and this is significant to Joe Biden and his team, the National Security Advisor. They write, 7 months after October 7th, the deadliest day for the Jewish people since the end of the Holocaust, Iranian-backed terrorist proxies continue to fire rockets and mortars into Israel at Americans from all directions. At the same time, anti-Semitism is spreading globally like wildfire. We fear that public disputes with our critical ally only emboldens our mutual enemies. This is from Democrats, including Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and other Iranian-backed proxies. It also buttresses their agenda of chaos, brutality, and hate, and makes a hostage agreement even harder to achieve. Hamas has 130 hostages, including 8 Americans, 5 of whom may still be alive. Hamas continues to fire into Israel, killing Israeli soldiers. You don't hear about this, actually, do you? War abroad and strife at home. Did you hear what happened to Steve Bannon?
For every conservative American, this is what happens in the last days of a dying regime. They will never shut me up. They'll have to kill me first. I have not yet begun to fight.
What a patriot. That was a few months back. Guess what? He was fighting, winning a little bit. Now a judge, it looks like the appeal has lost. He has to show up to jail for a 4-month sentence for contempt of Congress. Congress deserves nothing but contempt. Who else is in jail right now, in prison? Peter Navarro. In prison tonight, Donald Trump's former chief trade advisor, Alan Weisselberg, is in prison. Why? What did he do wrong? Nothing, other than be an associate loyal to Donald Trump. Rudy Giuliani has a more than $100 million bill hanging over his head. Paul Manafort, his life ruined because of the association with Donald Trump. Michael Flynn, They blew up his life, but he's coming back. And you know who is behind all of this? Obama, his national security team. They plotted it. Oh, yeah. Even before Donald Trump was elected, that stuff they pulled with the FBI. Donald Trump is strong and getting stronger. I don't know how this is going to play out. I don't. Next week, more trial. You know, Donald Trump, they won't let him talk about the witnesses who are saying the most horrendous things about him. He can talk about the judge.
There is no gag order to Michael Cohen. What the judge did was amazing, actually. It was amazing. Everybody can say whatever they want. They can say whatever they want, but I'm not allowed to say anything about anybody. It's a disgrace.
Well, he can't talk about the witnesses, but I can. Michael Cohen deserves mental health care. And Stormy Daniels was a disgrace that they brought her in. And everybody with this crap that she held her own on the witness stand and stared down the defense, it's totally crazy. A few things that I learned by going to court this week and reading every word of the transcript. Stormy has told dozens of versions of her stupid, ridiculous fantasy of hooking up with Trump. First, let's state the obvious. Stormy has financial and political motivations telling this fake story. She hates Trump. She has gotten tens of millions of friends and millions of dollars from this stupid story that has so many holes in it you could drive a fleet of aircraft carriers through it. Stormy remembers every single detail of Trump's suite at the Harrah's Hotel she allegedly spent 2 hours in 18 years ago. And would anyone remember this kind of stuff? Stormy describes the black and white tile, the mahogany table, its round shape, the flower arrangement, the layout of the suite, the double doors, not single but double, Pert shampoo and Old Spice in the bathroom, the foyer, again, roundish. Huh? She can't even remember the name of the hotel where she was staying, and she couldn't figure out how far it was from the hotel. Now, she was staying at the Harvey's Hotel, by the way. I've been there. Very nice, kind of an 80s vibe. And it's 250 feet away from Donald Trump's suite. She's told a million different stories over the years. And how did she get there? Well, Keith Schiller sent her a limo to pick her up. Then she told everybody that her friend gave her a ride. Then she said she walked a few blocks and then stopped at a tattoo parlor. We know that she's very into ink. And then drove in a car the rest of the way with a girl she met at the tattoo place. You know, what we used to call these kinds of inconsistencies, proof that something did not happen, i.e. lies. So, again, it's just 255 feet. We showed you the map, less than 1 block. The hotels are basically across the street from each other. And guess what? You can't stop in the middle of the street to go to the tattoo parlor because there's no tattoo parlor in the middle of the street. She also told 50 people that Trump refused to order room service or take her to a restaurant and that she was starving. Well, in her own trashy book, she says that she got $800,000 for, an $800,000 advance. Stormy said that she and Trump had dinner together. Yeah, in 2011, she said that they ordered dinner and talked about The Apprentice before, during, and after dinner. And she told Anderson Condom Cooper, I call him Condom Cooper because he has a lot of questions about condoms, yeah. They had dinner in the suite. They had dinner in a hotel suite. Now, her preposterous excuse for these incredible contradictions, she's playing the, I'm just a country girl. That's how we talk in the South. Having somebody, at least where I'm from, doesn't necessarily mean that you have to put food in your mouth. I'm going to someone's house for dinner. It's dinner time. You get it? All right. I lived in the South. I lived in Mississippi. I lived in Virginia. I lived in North Carolina. I lived in Florida's Panhandle. And Stormy, you are full of it. All right? And I double-checked with some of my neighbors who still live there. They say you are full of it. And what about this nonsense about how she gets a glimpse of Trump in his undershirt and she basically faints and the room starts to spin? Can we be real for a second? I did some research, Stormy. I looked at, yes, some of your work. Stormy has done basically every conceivable genre of pornography. It is not remotely believable that this woman who previously claimed that she made Trump her bitch, sorry, her words, could have been somehow intimidated or shocked in that moment. Stormy has made her professional life getting paid to have sex on camera. Stormy, you may be fooling the fake news, or you may be being used by the fake news, I know that, but you're not fooling America. We do not believe you. And the liberals who ignore these massive discrepancies, and if they're confronted by them, they just, well, turn the tables and pull the Me Too woman card. I'm not judging Stormy Daniels and her career in pornography. Lots of people look at that stuff. But we live in the real world, and a porn star isn't necessarily good or bad, but we got to go there, okay? And for all the talk about tough questions of Stormy, that somehow this is going to turn off suburban women. You can't pressure Stormy Daniels because women in the suburbs are going to be uncomfortable, and they're such a swing vote. We have to be gentle about this. Suburban women are tougher, smarter, savvier than the MSNBC talking heads. And suburban women have been known to have husbands, fathers, sons, brothers, and they don't want them ruined over fake accusations. And very seriously, Stormy is throwing around the term blacked out, and it's reprehensible. On Tuesday, she said she blacked out when she was in the room with Trump. And Thursday was, this is Tuesday. You were both standing up at this time. Yes. Then what happened? Briefly. I just think I blacked out. Okay, that's very serious. What happened on Thursday? But you supposedly blacked out, right? I got lightheaded. I never blacked out. I didn't hit the floor. Tuesday, she blacked out. Thursday, she didn't black out. To be so recklessly throwing around those loaded words, that is unconscionable. And then one more thing. I'm just 27 years old at the time. I was so intimidated. He was older than me. No one's buying it, all right? And a 27-year-old woman, and yeah, Stormy was quite beautiful when she was 27, has been known to hold a lot of power over an older man. So I don't believe anything that she says. Neither should you. Who knows? This jury just might shock the world. I'll be right back.